All right, Jobber Nation, welcome to our one of two Black History Month interviews of the Jobber Tears podcast. We kept it really short and simple this year, but we wanted to actually really bring on a special guest because he's like adopted New Yorker in our hearts and our minds. But before we get into our guest. Thank you to everyone that came out for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view viewing party. We truly appreciate everybody that came out. The house was definitely on the side of Sami Zayn the whole night, so it was really cool for everybody to be there. Next viewing party will be next weekend, AEW Revolution. So make sure to RSVP for that. Make sure to come early because a lot of people actually do come for the AEW's pay-per-view.
What time is it? What day? The 11th?
The Sunday. No.
It's
the 5th.
March 5th.
Yeah, the Sunday.
Woo. Okay.
So be prepared for 6 hours of non-stop action. Actually, wait, you done Dark? Yeah.
You gonna announce me first, or just go? Oh,
no,
yeah.
You're gonna introduce yourself though. But I just wanted a yes or no on that one.
First off, we got my man Mysterious Q.
No, he has to introduce himself. No, that's not how it
goes. We have to do some real New York shit because this man is jacked and wears a mask.
Not today, though. Not today, ladies. Ladies, you get the pleasure of seeing the man behind the mask. There you go, Mysterious Q in the building.
I should have been charging for this then.
Oh, please.
I appreciate y'all having me on and doing Black History Month, our month. I respect that.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because we do interviews here and there, like they're not as frequent as they were before. But thinking about it, we were like, wait, we never had Q on. How? So that's why we were like, nah, it's time, and it's actually a really good time because I think you've done a lot of amazing stuff within the last 2 years. Yeah. That just alone has definitely put a stamp, your name it's in these streets. And in a very good way.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the game, where you're from, and all that little jazz, just so they can kind of get a little bit of information about who you are.
I'm trying to remember exactly when I started, man. I think it was 06 or 07. It's been a minute, man. Originally I'm from New Orleans. And yeah.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
I got relocated because of Katrina. That happened my senior year of high school. So
word?
Yeah, that messed up everything, man. So when that happened, I went through a months of doing nothing, and I was like, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I saw an episode of Hogan Knows Best, and Nick was trying to be a wrestler, and I'm looking, I'm like, bro, I could do this shit. And I just so happened, I was like, man, let me look this shit up to see how it goes. And it took a minute because I'm naturally I'm a shy dude, so I looked up a school, which was a tugboat school, and I drove to find the school, but my shy ass. I drove right past it. I saw it, and I drove right past it, and I went home. And I was like, all right, I know what it's at. And it took a few more weeks, and then I drove there, walked up to the door, got out the car, walked up to the door, saw people looking. My lame ass turned around and went back home. I was just so it got to the part
progress.
Yeah, the progress. Third time, my mom was just like, man, don't let me down or do none of this shit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm going. So I went in, and I swear it seemed like it was a few months ago. Talking to Tug, and he let me in the ring do some things, and then wait, I'm off center. He let me in the ring to do some things, and then it's crazy, man. It just seemed like everything took off, and I'm right here. I'm here right now, and it's hard to explain, but it literally felt like it was a blank, and all that my whole career just kind of happened, and I'm here at this point.
Really?
So what was your first match?
Good question, Janelle.
Was it 3 minutes?
No.
No, actually, man, I was good, man, starting. So,
Why you do that?
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
nah,
That was from the soul.
yeah,
That was slick. That was slick. That was
That was
slick.
good.
It was like 10 minutes. It was like 10 minutes. I was kind of advanced. So, and then I was in there with somebody who could carry me. So like I think it was about 10 minutes, and it was against like this guy who was training me. It was like this short dude named I think he had a mask gimmick at the time. It was called a crawler, but his real gimmick was this dude Major Eddie Lee. And man, without him and this other guy Buster Time, they called him the ultimate bad guy. Without them dudes, like I probably wouldn't have been at the level I am now.
So how did them two influence your career? Like, how did it aid you?
Because Eddie Lee, because he was there training with me from the basics. The guy Buster Time, whose actual name is Don Kimball, he did some stuff at like for WWE and like Shawn Michaels school when he had that going. But without Buster, I wouldn't have had Q, because he saw all this before I saw it. And he was like, I got the gimmick for you in the name. You're gonna be Q. And I was like, what the fuck is Q? Like, I don't want that name. Like, I didn't know what it was. He didn't know what it was. And I was like, I'm not doing this. But he gave me like a little bit. And like with that, I ended up like adding like Mysterious to it, and then like evolving the mask with it. And like it just snowballed into something big. But if I didn't have Buster, because Buster was a creative ass dude, if I didn't have him around just like sprinkling little like gems about the Q character to me, I would have just been lost and like just another Negro in the mask.
I mean, but there's not that many.
So
I mean,
did the mask come from? Because you mentioned this earlier, you being a shy guy.
I think like ultimately, yeah, that's what. Yeah, because I wanted face paint, but then I was like,
no.
If I do a mask, like nobody saw me, so like it works. Hold on, what's up? Nah, I don't. No. Damn, we live too.
Live, ladies and gentlemen, we got the hustlers on the street.
It be like that.
Yeah.
It be like that.
They wanted an autograph. So
Listen, he out here popping. He out here popping on these streets.
This one over here. A true character in and out. A true character in and out. So you mentioned you started 06, 07. What was that moment for you that you realized, all right, I can't do nothing but this?
Oh, to be honest, it was before I even started. Because I really felt, not to get all like emo and stuff, I really felt that like when Katrina happened, I was supposed to die. And there was a lot of people who came from New Orleans who kind of felt that way. And when I saw all that, there was a part that I was thinking, and I was just like, bro, all that happened so I could get replaced and do wrestling. So like I'm a big believer that like things happen for a reason. And if Katrina didn't happen, I would have been doing some stupid shit in New Orleans. Like, I don't even know if I'd have been alive right now, but I'd have been doing some stupid shit. And when it kind of came easy, like the first few weeks, I was like, nah, this is what I'm gonna do. Like everything fit the way it's supposed to fit for me to do this. Like I've been watching this since I was a kid. I done watched all the greats through their goods and their fuck ups. So like I know like if I fuck up, I could backtrack to something I thought that one of the greats did. So like before I started, I was like, this is what I gotta do. Ain't gonna be no backup plans. At first. You get
then you realize ain't no money in wrestling.
I need something to put my feet on.
It's like the first time you picked up a mic, you like, yo, these are bars.
Nah, first time I pick up a mic is like, damn, that's how I sound. Like, hold up. It take a minute.
Yo,
but
that's funny, man.
That's a beautiful way of like breaking in. But this ain't a storybook, obviously. This is real life.
Yeah.
You're in this, you're doing your thing. When was there ever a moment you're like, fuck, can I keep doing this shit? Because you've been doing this shit for a minute.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years at this point.
Yeah. I think the first time I really questioned myself, like, man, I don't think I could do this. We did a seminar in Florida for TNA, and I was like maybe like 4 weeks in the business, and I had broke my wrist like 2 weeks in the business.
Oof.
So we're doing these drills, and they are drilling us harder than like we've been being drilled in
school
in Houston. So I remember looking up at the stars, and I was just like, bruh, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if this is the shit for me.
4 weeks in, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, damn, bro, like this was harder than like basketball training. And I was like, man, I don't know if I could do this. And then I was like, man, quit being a bitch. Nah, we got this. We got this.
So what was the moment where you felt like, okay, speaking of basketball, like it's always at that moment where all the greats could say, I remember this game when the game just slowed down, when Kobe scored 81, you understand? When Booker scored 70-something. When was that moment for you in wrestling where you was just like, yo, this shit is light and I could do this forever? What was your fluke game? You feel me? What was your 71? What was your 81 game, B, that said, yeah, I'm invincible?
Damn. It's weird because, man, it'd be like one match. Like, not one match ever had made me feel like, damn. Because even you have good matches. It was like, it was like a time in 2019 where, like, I was, like, really, like, cutting my feet. Like, I was really, like, going places. And I was having, like, a string of good matches. And, I guess, I could just say this. I could say it. So I was having those matches, and it led to when Joe King hit me up for Battle Club, because nobody never like was trying to take me out, bring me out of the state. So like when I was doing my shit, and I remember sending like everybody like emails and stuff, and I got nothing back. Like maybe one dude opened it and replied and was like, "Nah, you're not hot enough yet." So like I was having these matches in 2019, and Joe Kim hit me up, and I was just like, hold up, bro, like I ain't trash after all. Because you go to that point where it's like, damn, like you go down and it's like, man, I ain't getting no fucking bookings, bro. I'm only wrestling in Texas. Like this, maybe I ain't it. And then somebody come out the blue, and it was Joe King with that message, and I was like, wait, I'm going to New York. I'm going to New York. All right. And that was the first time I've ever been out of the state. And I was like, all right, like this is where we going. Like, this is how I know like my shit's good.
So talk a little bit about the dynamic, the environment in wrestling in Houston and in Texas in general versus wrestling here in the Northeast, because they're both two different cultures. Like I've been to shows I went to an indie show in Dallas that we had sponsored, and it's a very different vibe than it is up here. So talk a little bit about your experiences wrestling in Texas, and then once you having that opportunity and now kind of being all over in the Northeast. Like, what are some of the differences?
It's weird, man, because Texas is there for you, but only after like a certain degree. Because I kind of feel like there was a point where I was just like wrestling. They see you so much, then it's kind of like, But if you wrestling somebody from out of state, they there for you because it's like, hey, it's our homeboy. Like we riding with him.
Mm-hmm.
Man, when I did New York, when I did Java Slam, bro, it felt like the crowd was like a public school basketball playoff game. Bro. The crowd was just like,
he said it was Sunset Park.
Bro, it was like it was live, like New York fans just like
are ignorant.
I don't want to say that, but like they live, like they arguing in the crowd with another fan about how hard they go for the dude in the ring. Like
I said,
yeah,
it's good ignorant,
bro. It feel like your whole family out. It feel like the whole crowd is your family, and they arguing to other people about you. So like, man, I fucks with New York crowd hard, like dead ass, like legit.
Thank you for doing Jobber Slam, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, Jobber Slam Battle Club.
Anytime, we appreciate you, because I think that was always kind of like the thing. It was like you started to be an attraction here in New York, New Jersey area, because people didn't, that, I don't want to say it was a different style of wrestling, but just like how you carry yourself, the gimmick, like just everything.
Yeah.
No one's doing what you're doing. So when you come out here, it's gonna be appreciated a little more, because we don't have that. Like,
yeah.
we don't have a nigga in the mask. Like we just ain't got that.
Yeah.
But in terms of the mask, though, I do want to ask, where did the design come from? Like, creatively, how did you, was it a mask you found? You was like, all right, that's it. Or did you actually have it created to a design that you wanted it to be?
I had my mask currently is like a rendition of two masks I had previous, along with a strong influence from like one of the guys who I idolize, Hayabusa, from Japan. So my first mask was it was some Street Fighter gimmick, some Street Fighter dude who had a mask, and I drew something from that, and I had it put on this one mask. But this one mask was a full face, and crazy story, the mask was part of this guy in Mexico. The guy in Mexico, his name was Tiniablis. That guy wrestled my trainer, who was Tugboat. But Tugboat, when he wrestled in Mexico, he went on the Ciclope. So that guy Tiniablis, he beat Tugboat and took his mask in Mexico. So when Tiniablis Tiniablis Jr. saw I had the mask and was like, "Who's your trainer?" or whatever, and it was like Tugboat, he felt the way he trying to undercut my dad or some shit. But so I got it switched a little bit. And when you do when I was wrestling with the mask, I was still doing extra work for WWE. We still had a good pathway to do that from being at Booker School. They kept saying lose the mask. Everybody was saying lose the mask because you can't they can't see my face or facial expression. So I had an idea just to open the eyes, and I was like, I'm gonna do Hayabusa's blueprint, but I'm just add my mask stuff around it. And I think it added an element to it, because then you could see my eyes in pain and stuff, and it added a different element to my character with the mask. So all that to say, yeah, my mask now is it's just a rendition of two other masks I had previously, and Hayabusa's mask.
Are they expensive?
My gear, yeah.
What's the range? Because I'm intrigued. Because mask, you don't get that anywhere.
You could go to Mexico and get them for, I don't know, maybe $200. Get one made $200. My guy, it could go between $4 or $5, depending. My gear guy. So
that's not really that bad. Really not.
That's a lot.
That's why I only had 2 masks.
But I like the open face mask, because it looks like what the kids are wearing now, because all the kids wearing those ski mask shit.
Yeah.
So
Bushisti mask.
Yeah, the Bushisti shit. So it's giving me that vibe. So I was like, yo, he looked like he about to really go pull a jack move on somebody.
Go pull a...
Nah. My opinion.
You mentioned basketball. You played in high school?
Yeah, I played in high school.
What position?
I was a slasher.
Oh, did you ever have? Because I remember saying you weren't really sure about your future after Katrina. Was there any type of pathway to potentially playing in college?
I was trying to, yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to go. I was gonna try to go be a walk-on at Southern Miss. I was gonna try to go there and try to make the team, because I was I was going to high school in New Orleans, and I was just like, I'm gonna go to LSU. Everybody's saying LSU because you go to LSU, you ain't gonna do nothing but party and bullshit. And they had a good team, but my grades wasn't like good enough. My guidance counselor was just like, LSU is off the table. So I was just like, all right. And I was looking, I was like, I'll go to Southern Miss. And then Katrina happened, and that kind of just, again, like it just fucked everything up. I wasn't trying to go to school. Like it just really put me like in a mental like state at that moment. Like I wasn't trying to go do anything. I just wanted to like just like be a bum for a minute, to be honest.
So I got a question. Like, how was it during how was like the vibe during Katrina when everything all happened? How was the city? How was the feel? Like, how was it?
Before it happened, nobody was scared because we all had this theory that we was protected by this invisible barrier. Because right before Katrina, like 3 other storms had came, and it will always come like it's about to hit us and then veer off. And they had a history of doing this for like years. Like nothing that bad actually ever hit us. So they were saying like leave, evacuate, and people just not believing it because it always happens. But we ended up leaving and going to Mississippi. And I didn't take it serious because I left a pair. It was Jordan 12s, the black and whites. I left them downstairs. And some classics. And my grandma was like, bring those upstairs. I just put them on top of the freezer because I was like, you coming right back. So we didn't think much of it. We still caught some of it in Mississippi where we were. Then we turned on like one of those, it was like those, it looked like a big Game Boy, an old school Game Boy, but it was like those TVs like that with the antenna. With all the power stuff. Yeah. And man, the city looked like cereal, like a bowl of cereal. And you kind of like drop like, okay, that's not by us. That's not by us. And they showed the stadium that was down the street from my house, and that looked like a bowl of cereal. And I was like, yo, the city's like really fucked. So you thinking like, what we gonna do? Like, this is my senior year. I'm thinking of like all like the senior festivities just got canceled. I'm thinking like of college at this point and like all this. And I'm like, I'm not trying to go to a public school because I was going to a private school. I was like, I'm not trying to deal with no public schools. It was a rude awakening for a lot of people. And then you see all the looting and like all the ridiculous shit that was going down, and it's kind of like shit, man. And I think that opened America's eyes up to a lot of shit that was going down in New Orleans, and how like a lot of people like lived in New Orleans because they didn't think that many black people was in New Orleans because it's like predominantly white and Asian in most parts of New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of transplants down in New Orleans that be from all over the place, and they move down there for like music and like the arts and things like that. Because the very first time I went to New Orleans, like everybody, like that was always our question because it was our first time there. Like, so how has the city been since Katrina? And everybody's like, we're still trying to get back to life. Like still, and this was when I went, it was what 20, when was Mania New Orleans?
Which one? They had 30.
The one that was
it was like 6 years ago, so it was about 6, 7.
So then 6-7 years ago. Because I went to New Orleans. No, it wasn't 30, it was the other one.
It's like almost 5 years, about 5 years ago.
So I think it's 33 because 32 was Dallas. So I had went that Christmas before because I was like, I don't want to do nothing wrestling. I want to see the city, feel the city. And that was like all of our questions was like, yo, like, how's the city? Like, how's everybody? And they're like, 80% of people left and didn't come back. There's certain parts in New Orleans, they're still trying to rebuild.
Yep.
From Katrina. Like, and it's stuff that people you don't see it on the media and stuff like that because it's not, a current thing, but it's still an ongoing thing down there. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
Sound crazy.
Nah.
Food good though. I went like a year, like the year before last. Shit was good. Food was good, boy.
Love me some beignets. I'll tell you that.
Food definitely good. Oh yeah, beignets go hard. Like you can only eat them whole as soon as they cooked.
Yup.
Nobody.
No, yeah,
like,
that's not like a
some.
next day thing.
Nah, it ain't even like a 6 hours from now. Eat it. Nah,
nope.
You gotta eat.
A word?
Why they?
Yeah, nah, you gotta do it. Like if you go to Cafe Du Monde, you gotta like shake your bag up real quick, sit there and eat it. Like
I went to Cafe Du Monde.
You can't like do all that.
Alligator, because alligator's delicious.
Alligator go hard.
I feel like a real, Southern boy. I was like, let me get the alligator with a little bit of hot sauce.
Poor boys, yeah, poor boy, definitely.
Poor boy. But to get back to like your life and everything, it feels like you were like a phoenix rising out the ashes, and wrestling was the one that did it for you. Now that you're like, I don't really like you up here now, boy. Like you popping low key on these streets.
You on these streets.
How'd you end up in Booker's school?
It's one of those things. Like it was gonna have to happen. Like, eventually, because as you know, like you can't stay like in one spot. Like with anything in life, you stay in one spot and then like you get stagnant and stale. And I had a lot of friends that was over there at Books, and they were like, "Man, come on, down to Books. He gonna get you right," and all this other shit. And I was just like, we'll see. And like, I remember going over there with like the group of people from Tug School, and man, when I say Book was upset, like he did not want to fuck with us, man. He was just like, all y'all from that school trying to come over here and make this like this presence, like this scene when y'all walk in, and he was just like saying how like.
Sound like him.
He gave us the full tuition price, and like y'all need to be retrained because I don't think y'all was trained right at Tugs. So it was like shit. And my homeboy was like, "Yeah, bro, you should have told me y'all was coming because all y'all coming. That's a bad look." So I went back by myself. He was cool as shit that time. I was like, "Oh yeah, what's up, bro? Yeah, you can come through or whatever."
He gave you a lesser price. He said, "This is the rich price here."
Yeah. He was just like,
he did.
He actually told me I didn't have to pay because here's how I'll leave this part out, but he wasn't there, so like I would go there sometimes like when he wasn't there and his lackey wasn't there, and I would just I would wrestle, I would roll around and wrestle. So I'd be like, all right, cool, like we in the ring wrestling. I'm wrestling my homeboy, and I bump and I look up and I see Book walking in. So I hurry up and like I roll out the ring, and I pull my knee pads down, and I go like to shake his hand, like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, what's up? I see you in my ring," and I was like, "Shit." And he's like, "Let's see what he got. Who he can wrestle?" And it was my homeboy, which we wrestled like at this point like probably like 100 times. So I was like, "All right." So we wrestled, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, you good? You could work. You could wrestle for me." So that's how that ended up happening. But like I didn't wrestle for him right away. Like we ended up having like some type of heat because I wasn't trying to like wrestle for him without like it was on that, hey, you can't wrestle for them if you want to wrestle for me type shit.
It was an exclusivity type of thing.
Typical indie stuff.
Yeah.
But the evolution of you in wrestling schools, because the first time you go to wrestling school,
my man didn't even go in.
The second time,
I wouldn't even walk in.
You walked to the door and went back to the car. Now this third time that you go to a new wrestling
school, Booker school in the ring.
But the thing about you walk with a bunch of people, they come back the next. They come back.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Yo, he tried to pull a Nexus without knowing he did.
Are you kidding myself?
And it came back and was like,
I'm here. He was the match the first day, and the second day he came out with no mask. What are you talking about? I wasn't there the first time.
But you broke out of you being.
That's why he laughing. That's why he did that. Yeah, he did.
You broke out of being shot, and I think wrestling really brought you out more, like as a person, and really got you out your shell. Because I'm seeing that progression, even though you probably didn't notice it. The fact that you came by yourself. You pulled up by yourself, like, yo.
My man pulled up.
And then you rolled out the ring. So I personally thought you pulled, when you said you rolled out the ring, I thought you ran to the back or something. But.
Oh, no.
But
I wrote down.
He probably made eye contact with Book, and he couldn't. So,
but regardless,
walking,
beautiful though.
I tried to
That's
leave.
the beautiful part of like what you're telling me is like you're becoming who you're supposed to be, and you're slowly evolving as a man.
Yeah, that's definitely when I think about it now. Yeah, because
good point.
I ain't that shy no more, and it was wrestling that really had to like just cut that shit out. Like, hey, they ain't got no space for the being shy in the wrestling business at all.
Have you wrestled any of your heroes yet?
Nah, I'm trying to think. Nah, man. Like, I ain't get to wrestle Too Cold Scorpio.
How is someone not booked that yet?
I don't know, man.
Because Uncle Too Cold still out here in these streets.
Yeah. I see. Like 2 years in a row, he was supposed to wrestle my boy Brian Keith, and like they doing it this year, and I'm like, damn, man. I don't know how much longer he got. Like,
he maybe got like 1 or 2 years left in him.
He's still out here doing his shit. So yeah, I never got to wrestle Too Cold. I never got to wrestle Rollins. Never got to wrestle Brett. Never got to wrestle like none of these dudes who like I looked up to. So it's just kind of like you kind of see people who hot in the scene, and it's like, all right, man, I want to wrestle him. I want to see how it is wrestling him. But I wouldn't say like Book was a hero, but like I tagged with Book. I never like wrestled Book. So
how was that though? Because tagging is still like that's I feel like would be harder, especially because you guys like have never tagged before.
Team. Yeah, man. To be honest, man, it felt like the match itself. It felt like a training session. Like I was just waiting to see like if I fuck something up, and he was gonna be like, "Hey, that ain't right." Nah, he was kind of mad tagging because I didn't know how much he wanted to do in the match, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So and he kind of like old school, so he can call it in the ring. And I was doing too. I was waiting. I thought he was like LeBron, like he sub himself in when he wanted and sub himself out. So like, I'm just going to town. I'm just like, all right. And I'm in it, and he like, Q, give me something a little bit. So he'd always tag himself in. And in the back, he was like, what the fuck was that? Like, what are you there for? I was like, I thought you were just bringing a house book and you wanted me to do all the work. He was like, nah. But hindsight, I think that was his match to get ready for the Rumble. That was right before the Rumble. So that was his warm-up to get ready for the Rumble. I'm thinking in my head.
Nah, you warmed them up.
Damn, you had a piece in that.
Yeah, I think
he looked pretty solid in the Rumble, even though
he fell out.
Yeah, I think it's when
Walter.
the age is coming in because it's like, damn, this match this match hard.
Woo! This ain't over yet. Woo!
How has your? Because I love hearing about the work ethic, like the in the gym type of vibe. How's that been for you? Because you might low key be a body guy, low key.
Man, I really wasn't because I was skinny. I was skinny for the longest.
Really?
And then like age just came and the weight just came on. But I've always been like my work ethic always been there because I always saw it as like it's always in competition and like you never want to be like caught lacking. And I was always small, so like I'm always just like in the gym like always trying to work because I would never see results because I was skinny. And I think that helped me because it created like a routine for me. Mm-hmm. So it was to the point to where like the gym was always like, all right, cool, I got to go to the gym. And it really helps, man. Like, I don't know how else to explain it because like I've been doing it for so long. And as a kid, like I was raised up into like the gym ethic part of it. So it's almost like it's just like a part of like the DNA of you can't be a wrestler without like being in the gym. Like I knew that part. You have to look the part. That's the main thing.
You talking bars, B? You talking bars right now? Speaking bars.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
What's your parents think about all of this?
Yes.
They were fans from the jump. Like before I was born, they were fans. So my mom was like, okay, like let's do this. My dad was just like, I think at that point, like he was waiting to see, like he knew I was gonna be something, but he was waiting to see like how it was gonna like manifest. Like, all right, yeah, like he's like the dad that's like, not saying my dad left, but he's like the dad that's like, all right, I'm gonna get some cigarettes real quick, and then like you start doing good, and he come on draft day with his hat on. That's my boy.
So
that's my
that sound like Pat Mahomes' day.
Yeah, he actually hit me up yesterday. It was like, hey man, I didn't know that this match with you and Book was out on YouTube or whatever. I would have paid to watch that. I was like, I told you.
So speaking of that, when has both your parents actually seen you wrestle live, and when was the last time?
Like both of them at the same at the same show watching me?
Maybe, yeah, if that's happened. Yeah.
I think that happened. I think it happened this show I wrestled followed by in a steel cage. I think they both were there. Yeah, I did like
parents go to a steel cage, man.
Yeah. I was showing out. I hit the 450 from the cage, top of the cage.
Woo!
Yeah, my knee's still fucked. Yeah, they came to like a few shows actually. Yeah, my dad always likes to come now.
Because you lit now.
Yeah.
Because he could brag about you.
Yeah, he do. They really do. I'm trying to think. My mom just be showing up to shows. Like,
oh, she's pop up.
I'll just look, and all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? So she's very like she follows my career very like actively. So my mom a real one on that one.
Oh, do they give you any feedback? Like, you should have done this. Nah, next time hit him like this.
Nah, okay. My grandmother, because to my grandmother, this shit is still real. So anytime I lose a match, I hate going around her because she'd be like, see, that's why your ass lost that match, because you're out there partying and drinking. You need to be in the gym a little bit more. And I was like, and she'll watch my matches like, yeah, see that move right there, that uppercut? You hit any motherfucker with that move, man, they gonna be out. I seen it. And I'm just like, all right. So my grandma,
man, we may have to get grandma up here. I feel like she'll have a ball.
Yeah, she from Mississippi. It's real to her. She be in my ass if I lose. So.
Yo, I love when they feel that way.
Because it's still real.
Yeah.
My daughter's grandfather, I watched wrestle with him, and he'd be like, this Roman Reigns got such a bad guy. I can't stand him. Why like this to his brothers? I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, I love when they feel that way. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So cute. You've wrestled Texas, of course up here. Where are some places you haven't wrestled that you would love to wrestle?
Really?
California.
Really?
Specifically LA, yeah.
Well, you'll be lit.
Ain't nobody book you for Mania weekend?
Nah, I ain't booked. I got 0 bookings as of now so far for
it's we're still like 40 days away.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to get them bookings. Trying to think. I kind of want to see what Arizona like.
I heard they have a really good wrestling scene out there, out in the Phoenix area.
That and things like the Boston area, or just Massachusetts and I heard like that scene booming.
Yeah, like where like main event wrestle when they go up there, like Massachusetts and stuff.
Is it Limitless? No, it's not Limitless, right?
Yeah, Limitless is up there.
Okay. Limitless up there too. Oh, well, we added Washington too, because that's where Defy is, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, the state. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to wrestle in Defy.
Have you done anything overseas?
Actually, I went to Mexico in December.
Oh,
how was that? With you having the mask and everything.
Yeah, with you being black.
Yeah.
Mind you, in Mexico, there's people that look like him too.
Yeah,
same complexion.
But some of them kind of protective over the fact it's just kind of like, yo, you black and you wearing a mask, dude, like. And they'll be saying they'll say some shit, and I'm just like, I don't know what they're saying. Like, man, like they probably shitting on me.
That's when you're supposed to pull out your phone and put Google Translation, so you already know what time it is.
Well, I mean, I think the thing, like wrestling is such. It's funny. This is like a beautiful thing because like you could go in there without like speaking like anything to the other person. Like they probably couldn't understand English, and I couldn't understand. I can understand probably like a little bit of Spanish, but we wrestled, and it's like there was no language barrier at all, and we just
really. Can you explain? Can you go a little?
Whoa!
Because I'm always curious about when people from different languages able to make a
like how do you call a match? Yeah.
I just called the match with some dudes from Japan too. It's weird. Like it's wrestling. It's its own language. Like Bret Hart had this saying to where like they would run a drill to where they wouldn't call anything and he would shoot the guy off the ropes and he would position his body, and the way he positioned his body, you knew it was like a hip toss, a clothesline, body slam, or like a drop down or something was coming. And with the body, the way you move your body or the way you lead somebody, it kind of like speaks. It speaks to like for itself. I mean, granted, like chemistry helps too, because sometimes like this guy was trying to do some spot, but I knew where he was going because I've seen it before. Like if I didn't see it before, we would have just like bumped heads or whatever. But like everything we did just flowed, and it's just like, how can I put this? It's like the way you call it is a different thing, but it's still like the same thing as far as like a move. Like you can motion a move to a guy and he'll get it. Mm-hmm. Kind of like if in wrestling, like there's all these moves, but either way, you're going to end up with a back bump or a face bump. And that's kind of how like wrestling is. Like the moves are always going to be like the moves, and that's universal. It's just like how you call it. But like if you can go out there and just kind of like lead somebody into it, like it's hard to explain, but it just flows. It's like a language in itself.
So what's your favorite style of wrestling? Because I mean, you move pretty fluid for a big guy, I will say.
Yeah. I'm gonna say my style because I got like I call myself like a hybrid horse. Like
yeah,
I switched up a lot of things with it. So like, I mean, I hate to be like one type of like a one trick pony or like a one style of a guy, because I can do multiple things, and I don't want to be categorized into like, hey, we don't have a spot on the card for him because we just need somebody to fill this type of match. When it's like, hey, I can do this match on the card, I can do this match on the card. So I mean, I like my style, but like if I had a favorite style to watch, definitely the lucha style, because the motherfuckers be going.
Like, lucha
that is true. Dragon Ball Z, bro.
Yeah, bro. Between that and I like the Japan style too, like because it's more story based in it, but lucha style is definitely entertaining.
Nah, it's a beautiful thing that you can maneuver all this type of ways. I think your dad's genetics plays a factor.
Yeah,
because you know he knew something was coming out. He just
ain't know what.
Yeah.
Said earlier.
Why you like this for?
Nah, the dad knew. He was waiting for his time to come.
Yeah, he was waiting. Yep, he definitely was waiting.
You haven't wrestled in Japan yet, right?
No.
Is that something that's on the potential? Like, yeah, maybe one day.
What's on the wrestling bucket list?
That was it was a goal like around 2018, 2019. I was like, man, I want to get to Japan. And I'm not saying like I'm negative, but like I look at like more realistic things like level wise now, because it's kind of like Japan gonna always be there. But the main thing like I always wanted to do from like day one was just wrestle PWG. Like just give me one PWG match. And that's like the main thing like I'm trying to get now. Like just get on like one PWG show, because I could wrestle a PWG show and some, God forbid, but like something could happen and I could probably like never wrestle again. I'll be okay with that because I did my PWG show. It's not like a big like WWE type goal, like, oh man, I want to sign a contract. It's like the best of the best dudes be up here like wrestling, and I want to go and wrestle with them and hold my own with them. So I know like that's a goal to myself. Like, hey, like you could go. It's kind of like going to like the Rucker or somewhere. You'd be like, hey, let me just go like run a few pickup games with these motherfuckers. And if I could get like a few games, then I'm good and I'm set. Like I know whatever else comes, like it's easy for me to obtain.
All right, so you get the match. They say, yo, listen, you can pick anybody you want. Who you picking?
Anybody.
They say it's open contracts.
Oh,
and
anybody?
if they contracted, we can figure it out. We still could do it. So who would you have the match of all matches with?
Rollins.
Let him answer.
I was thinking. I don't want to say it, but it got to be Rollins or Speedball.
Okay.
Who? I didn't hear.
Mikey Speedball, the guy. Impact.
Bailey. The karate dude. He been on a tear. Like he been killing shit.
He been popping.
Yeah, for a minute.
He was at Peter's show. Last show.
Yeah, he wrestled tonight, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good match. Like had the whole house rocking.
Wait, maybe not him. Bandito.
Ooh.
Would it be like mask versus mask? Like loser takes their mask?
It cool. I could wrestle him in the mask or outside the mask, man. Look, at this point, I'm starting to think like I'm gonna just try to do a run of a few shows without the mask on the indies to see like how it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you feel like you would get more bookings with the mask or without the mask?
See, you wrestled without it, right?
Yeah, I wrestled without it at Books.
At Book School, because that's that.
Yeah, and that's what people like who like scouts or whatever. Like you initially gonna end up wrestling on TV. So I do my without the mask stuff in Books environment, which is TV, because that's ultimately what you sign in. So on the indies, it's like I feel like I get more bookings in the mask because that's just the body of work that I've built. When you go to like, I don't know, WWE or AEW or Impact, maybe they gonna want what they feel is gonna make them money and something fresh, which would be like me outside the mask. So
you never know. They might put you, if it does happen, which I think it will happen, put you in the mask because it's something different. I don't think you understand. A brother in a luchador mask is very uncommon.
Very unheard of.
Very uncommon.
So it brings this layer of like representation, more merch.
Yeah, definitely that. Yeah.
Do you sell like mini replications of your mask?
Some dude hit me up and was like, "Hey, we could do this," and I was like, "All right." But then when I came back to him, he was just like, "Man, it's gonna cost more money than it's worth." And I'm just like, "Man."
Well, at least he was honest and told you that.
Yeah. But this one guy was like, "I should get like a connect in Mexico, and then like it'll be a whole lot cheaper, and I could just like push him out." So I'm just kind of see like where like things going, man. But I feel like that would be a marketing gem. But at the same time, like you got people like in most of these promotions now, like the top ones who wear masks, who sell. Like ain't no way you go bring a mask dude to WWE. I don't think, because you got Ray. And AEW maybe, but like Bandito's there, so like it's only a matter of time. I'm thinking before like he.
But Ray and Bandito ain't black.
Thank you.
Got a point. Got a point.
That's what I'm saying. Like it would low key be like Wakanda Forever if you and Ray want to go up against each other, because it would be like.
The land and earth?
Follow me. It's like Namor versus the Black Panther the black folks in the mask versus the Mexicans. Like this is everything. This is culture.
This is Wakanda forever. Yeah.
That match gotta happen in New York, but yeah, I'm down. I'd be down for that.
In the Bronx. It has to be in the Bronx.
Yeah, definitely in the Bronx. Was that what? Yeah.
How's the wrestling culture grown even more in Texas? I think like Texas wrestling culture is almost as big as football culture.
Yeah, definitely in the past, like coming out of the pandemic, shit was booming. And I think it's because we were like constantly pushing out like product during the pandemic, and people got to see like what we had down here. Like before it was double. Like nobody was willing to fly anybody out of Texas unless you're a big name, because I mean, they just weren't willing to take the bet, and they would say, "We'll drive out." Like, bro, you might as well still be down here in the same state, in Texas. Like, it's that big. But once like the pandemic happened, out of that, like people started giving like chances. Like you would start to see me out in New York. You'll see Brian Keith out there, and it brought more eyes to the state. And then you can see, oh, like Texas is new to most people because they're like, oh shit, like Texas booming. Now they got this guy. But it's been that way because it's just been like a bubble. So now it's just like a lot of talent in Texas feel like, hey, like we next up. And that's what I really wanted to do at a certain point. Like if I can't make it, let me just open the door for somebody else to come behind and see some shit down here and be like, yo, I fuck with this little kid here or this dude here. And like, let me give them a chance.
I just love how rap music is so similar.
Like, so what?
I just love how wrestling and rap music is so similar.
It's pretty much the same. I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah, like what you're mentioning is how people in New York, like the music in this talk about Southern rap back in the day. It was like Southern rap, but that Southern rap is the culture of hip hop.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what, like Texas. Now you said Texas wrestling almost like it's like a culture, to be honest. I feel like Texas wrestling, it's kind of like where the hip hop cultures are. You got like New York, Houston, or Texas, and LA. It's kind of like those spots, like they have like their own wrestling culture. But I would throw the Midwest in there. But like, it's like where the rap culture or like the hip hop culture is in those eras. I think it's like that with wrestling. Which that's why I think like BK is like a big thing, because that's you can't that's like Texas. If Texas was in a human form, it would be like Brian Keith. Like he like not everybody down here wears cowboy hats, but he wears that motherfucker and it look badass.
That shit look bad.
Yeah, hip hop culture with it. So like I think that's how it is like with Texas.
But I think a thing to you, a nod to you guys is the music you guys use when you guys come out too.
Yeah.
Like Brian Keith will come out to some chopped and screwed shit from Texas, like hard, like
Bum B. They sponsor him. Yeah.
So like stuff like that, you have to represent. Like he represents his city, like they represent where they from, and that's something that even us being from New York can relate to, because we represent where we from, no matter where we go. Like these two over here, they from Queens, just like mine's by sitting behind me. You don't even gotta ask them a question, and they like, I'm from Queens. No one asked you.
But then they also hit accent.
But thank you.
Yeah,
I didn't know that I had it. Like it's crazy how when people are like, "Oh, you're from New York? How do you know?" You sound like
you sound like it. Yeah.
They usually say that my girl family but asked her one day. They was like, so is he deaf? I'm like, no. He's like, he's not deaf. He's like, why did he talk so loud? He's like, yo, that's how he is. And she said this. he's the quiet one. My brother's the loudest, and Janelle's loud too. And when after that, when she came up and said, "Yo, they're all loud," I'm looking like, we're not loud. It's just.
That's just y'all.
Yo, the fact that they said, "Are you deaf?"
Are you deaf?
Whoa.
I'm like,
they said, "Yo, are you special needs?" Like, that's wild.
Why
are you talking so loud? Oh,
why are you so loud, bro? Damn.
Can you hear yourself?
Please.
Oh.
But yo, Mysterious Q, you about to blow up, B.
Yeah, no, the sky is the limit for you.
Because you got the Super Saiyan 1 now. And now that your hair's growing now with the tips, about to be Super Saiyan 2 soon, son. Because people know you. You're like a rock star out in these streets.
Shit, I need to be more in these streets then, man.
Like in New York, you got mad love. Like it's all they talk about, Mysterious Q. Like any brother wears a mask, they call him a bootleg Mysterious Q. That's always the
that's a fact.
That's why I mess with New York because I think it was the last time I was up there. Like you always get nervous before your music play, and like I come on like to Nas and like when it's going and it's just kind of like, man, I know that. All right, like they fuck with my shit if like as it like dun 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 and they start going like Q Q Q and like that shit started like in the New York and I was like, all right, cool, like I'm good. And then like it got to a point where it made its way down to Texas, but like in New York, like when they do that, I'm like, all right, cool, like I'm at ease, like all right, they know me, I could come out and it won't be silent, so I'm good with that.
Now that you kind of found a groove right now, right? You're in a little groove, and obviously you want more for yourself as being a wrestler. Yeah. I like to ask this question. What do you think you need to do better now?
Ooh.
Man, to be honest, bro, like I just talked to somebody and it ain't much because they just told me everything is there, the facials, the talking, and all this. I'm just like, I don't know, maybe like up my in-ring a little bit more and up like the range of my facials and personality, I'm assuming. Because at the end it's all acting.
Yeah.
So like I think if I had more range that way.
I'm not gonna hold you. I would pay good money to see you be a badass heel. Like I want to see you make somebody cry. For real.
I just did that Friday too.
So, oh damn! Really?
I made some little girl cry.
How was that?
I felt bad.
You felt bad?
Yeah, she was cheering for this dude I was wrestling, and I threw him outside in front of him, and I was like, cheer for him. And I gave him a cross on across the face, and she's trying to cheer, but each like shot that I give him, she looked like, oh, he ain't getting up from that, and so like I picked him up and I chopped him. And I was like, that's what you did. And you next. And like, kind of put her head down and started crying. And I was like, and her dad was right there. I was like, oh shit. I legit, I was like, I'm sorry, y'all. And like, I went back to doing my stuff and she cried. So I feel like I could be a good heel. Like,
what did the dad say?
It really is in you. It's in the pit. It's right here.
Yeah, I can't
what
be
like that. What dad told you?
He didn't say shit. He just looked at me. He wasn't gonna do nothing.
What you could do? What you gonna do?
I don't think he was gonna do shit. Although I was expecting it, but I don't think he was gonna. He knew it was a show. But
he said, "Look, you made me do it." Slapped him.
Yeah.
But then he said, "You next." That's really what took it over the edge, though. I ain't gonna hold you.
What it is, so.
Like a tall, big black man saying "you next." It's a little scary.
Why you like
this? I felt the bill of a bad guy.
It's a little scary.
So yeah.
Well, there's no real big heels in the
business, so
I mean, there's Roman.
No, I'm talking about in the indie scene.
Oh, in the indie scene. You know what? Yeah, because to me, the biggest heel was Darius Carter. For me, I was just like, you just look, bro. Like I could never see you being a face nowhere. Like
ever.
You look like a annoying ass asshole.
He looks like a bad guy. He looks
like if he ever tried to be face, I would be like, all right, stop playing.
I'll laugh at him.
I can't buy it. Yeah.
I'll laugh at him. I was like,
I couldn't buy it. Yeah. but definitely as a heel, Darius is like top. But it feel like it would be hard to be a heel on the Indies because everybody want to be. Yeah, like when you're a good guy, they're like, we don't really fuck with you. Then you be like, all right, I'm gonna be a bad guy. I'm gonna really say like, fuck y'all, don't ask me for no photos after the show, none of that. And you do that, and then all of a sudden they start cheering like, this is all backwards, bro.
I tell people this all the time. Wrestling fans want to be abused.
They are toxic.
They do.
Toxic as fuck.
They are toxic
because they love Darius Carter.
Love him.
I
love him.
Yeah, I was like. Maybe it's because you wrestled here before, but it's like that when he goes other places. And it's kind of like, all right, I see what it is.
Listen,
like so we go to other places.
Start making babies cry, and just start talking shit online. And
I'm for
saying 3 Mysterious Q coming.
I'm here for it because I think I think it'll be something no one would see coming.
Yeah.
Like when Rock Low-key joined Nation, no one saw that coming. Like everybody was like, "What?"
Yeah, I feel like if I did, like it would have to be over the top. Like I got to take the mask off.
Yeah,
Because you go heel in the mask, they just quiet. They don't work. Me in the mask being heel, but I come outside this motherfucker and I start talking shit and looking at you. I think it's more effective. So like,
you know what? I got it right.
Okay, I'm listening.
So,
oh my God,
you don't pull up to the show with the mask on, right? You talking, and then I feel like people don't let people talk.
Yeah.
On the mic, right? And then you rip the mask off and say, I'm talking. Everybody's gonna get quiet. Then you just start ripping the crowd apart, talking about that guy is disgusting and fat, needs to go die. That child over there is a piece of crap and should have been left in that mama's mouth. And you just go off. And you walk away and drop the mic.
I can see that, but a step further, if I was in the ring with somebody and it's like I'm trying to talk, and you got to be a good guy there or whatever.
Yeah, and
then let me talk. I just
talk.
beat his ass.
I think we could. I think that's something we could do.
I mean, it could be.
Listen. We out here. Saboteers Rock Nation.
Okay, that part.
Hey,
put your J's on.
Put your chains up. Yeah. Oh my God, we gotta get a chain. He looked like the guy from Scary Movie with the fingers and shit.
The hand. I'm down for that, though.
Now we make, you know what? That it actually kind of goes with what I had in mind. So, gentlemen, any last questions for the phenomenal Mysterious Q? But if not, Q, let everyone know if you have any upcoming shows and where to find you best.
Actually, yeah, I'm doing this intergender like tag tournament in Dallas on Friday. For Dallas All Pro Wrestling. I'm trying to think what else. Then Sunday, me and Brian keep tagging up the Texas Pillars and Austin, Texas for Inspire Pro. You can check them out on like all their socials on Inspire AD. And as far as me on all my socials, you can just type in Mysterious Q. I'm sure I'll pop up. But Instagram is Instagram is Mysterious Q. Twitter is DA_Mysterious_Q.
Okay.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to follow Mysterious Q. He's definitely one to watch. Definitely he's in the right position and he's been on the up and up. So we're super proud of you. Super thankful for you to take the time out to hang out with us this evening on the JTP Lounge. We can't wait to see you again here in New York because trust me, it's happening. Wink, wink, July, wink, wink. I told you. We'll be back live regular time this Thursday with our family friend Chisel Adonis for our Black History Month annual episode with him. So make sure to tune in for that. And then once again, make sure to RSVP for AEW Revolution next Sunday at Legends. So the boys will be there. So make sure to come out support. As always, I'm Janelle from HR here with Sir Wilkins and Mr. Black. And of course, the phenomenal Mysterious Q here in the building. # Black Excellence. # we are out.
Throw the J's up.
Starting stuff.